Hi everyone, Marie here from Skeins, and it is great. I don't know what it's like second week of the school holidays in your house, but it's great to have the sun shining here in Napier. And I thought it was a perfect time to catch up because next week I may not be able to catch up with you next week because I'm heading away to the Creative Fibre Education event and festival up in Gisborne. So if you are travelling for that event, do make sure you come to the trading hall and say hi. But I thought I'd jump in and say hello and just sort of catch you up really I've got drawn a few more winners out of the speakeasy with the knit along. I've got some new colours to show you, and I thought I'd just share with you what's on my needles. I've had people ask me what I'm knitting at the minute, and I've been a bit tardy actually getting those things, some of those images posted up on the speakeasy myself. So I thought we'd have a bit of a catch up this morning and talk about that. So first things first, the Skeins Speakeasy. If you're over in the Speakeasy and you have been knitting away and sharing your projects in the something beginning with C, knit along or crochet along, oh, they have been amazing. It has been so good to see all the entries. And I've popped the randomizer over things this morning and come out with two winners, I thought, this week, both of which will be getting an Evie pattern by Justine Turner, aka Just Jussie, and some yarns to go with them. So those two winners there are someone who goes by the Facebook name of Scarlet Traveller. So congratulations, I've sent you a private message to get details from you. And also Courtney LeCheminot from Dannyburg in Central Hawke's Bay, congratulations to you. You have both got prize packs that will be heading out to you today or tomorrow from us here. So congratulations and thank you for sharing. If you want to know how you can get involved, it's going on all month. There's no strict rules or time limits. I've had a lot of people asking what the rules are. I'm not big about rules, to be fair. Obviously, our preference is that you use Skeins yarn, but you know what? It's more about the sharing as well. I'm certainly not going to pack a patty if you've popped something up out of scraps or things that you've used. But I am absolutely loving some of the imaginative names that you're putting to some of these projects to keep it to the something beginning with C theme. So keep it coming. Love it. If you're not a member of the Speakeasy yet, I will make sure I pop that link in the comments for you. You do need to join. The Speakeasy is where we have a conversation. It's a two-way conversation. It's a full community. Lots of talking going on. So do make sure you get yourself joined over there at the Speakeasy. So, as I mentioned before, new colours. And it may seem a bit weird, new colours, but not new colours as in new shades. These are going to be some orb colours, and they're actually a couple of colours that it's funny how colour goes around in fashion and waves. So, when it comes to what I call standard or classic colours, they are really, really cyclic. So just to give you an example, I mean, I've been doing this now for more than a decade. There are ones that are things like navy is really, really hot at the moment. Navy and gold, navy and mustard. In the previous seasons, it's been grey. There's still loads of greys around, people wanting light greys, mid greys, dark greys. And black and white, funnily enough, sort of fell out of fashion. But moving through lots of the other fashion and colour blogs and websites that I follow, we are starting to see more black and white coming through. And we suddenly realised we only had black and white in Perrindale and Urban, and we didn't, and one 4-ply and Merino Soft, and that was it. We didn't have black and white anywhere else. So it's happened. We have gone and put black and white back into orb. So we thought orb was the perfect place to put it, both in DK and in fine. So it's gone into both weights. The black is called rook and the white is called polar. And actually this is not, because this is quite glary in here, but if I pull this up, that is actually a bleach white. And actually, if I pop it next to our moon, because I happen to have a moon here, I don't know how well this camera's going to pick this up. There you go. As you can see, the polar is definitely a bleach white, whereas the moon is a cream or a natural shade. So we've gone and done that. We have put that bleach white back in there because there are those, particularly if they're doing like shawls or they need contrast, are after actually a bleach white shade. So those shades have gone in. I have a number of people say to me, oh gosh, I don't like to knit black. Why would you knit black? And I've worn this deliberately today. And it is funny with black. I don't know about anybody else, but often you will find that black is the most predominant colour in your wardrobe. And often when we knit things, we will knit things in a contrast or bright colour because we want to jazz things up. This is the #1 knitted item that I have that I wear most often. Now, I knitted this 4 years ago, and it's actually in a yarn that we made many, many years ago here that I'd had in my stash. Look at that. So that's Nadia from Martina Beam. I've talked about this Nadia pattern many times before. I absolutely love it. As you know, it's one of my favourites, and I've knitted squillions of them. So that's Nadia, and there you go. And now, the reason I'm showing you this is because this yarn is exactly the same construction as the Orb DK. And I wear and wear and wear and thrash and wear this shawl. Well, I mean, little people would wear this as a shawl. Since I'm not so little, I wear it as a scarf. So this is a scarf for me, and I love it. It's my number one favourite. So that's the sort of thing that you knit with them, and it is fantastic. And again, you know, heading into rugby season, those who like to follow a certain national rugby team with the oval ball, and I'm talking about the women here who cleaned up again against the Australians on the weekend. Well done, girls. You know, you'll be amazed actually how often you think, oh, actually, no, I do need to knit something black. So both of those are now live on the website, and I've actually popped them up towards the beginning so you can find them. And both again, DK Fulco, Rook and Polar, and you all find. Oh, actually, well, I've just got them. I did drag these out just to show you how good these look. So there they are there, and I've just grabbed out the mist, the shale, and the gold. And you see, there is actually a really, really good classic colour story there. So right, anyway, that is the Orb. The other thing I wanted to talk about today, and again I've had questions, is what's on my needles. And I have to admit I am the worst at sharing what's on my needles in the speakeasy. I'm hopeless. And the hard thing for me is that knitting for me is work as well as pleasure. So it's about what do I knit at home, or what do I knit for my own pleasure. To be fair, at the moment, to be actually for a good chunk of this year, most of my knitting has been work-based knitting as opposed to pleasure-based knitting. Just nature of the beast. However, the knitting that I am doing at the moment, I'm absolutely loving, because I love both the yarns I'm working with. And the first one I'm going to show you is what I call purse knitting. And I think I've talked about purse knitting before in videos, and I am not knitting a purse. This is knitting that is small enough and portable enough to live in one's purse. So when you're out and about and stuck at kids' sports fixtures, or waiting for something, or at the doctor's, or doing what you're doing in your daily life, and waiting is involved, that you can pull this knitting out of your handbag and or backpack or whatever you drag around, and have something to whack off a couple of rows while you're waiting. So it's, you know, and I've always got stuff like that. Quite often for me, purse knitting is hats. I've got another friend whose is socks. She always has a pair of vanilla socks on needles in her handbag, and that's what she knits all the time. She knits all her socks when she's out and about. So for me, it's something small. And in this particular instance, this is something I started over at Easter time. And I'm going to flip it around because it's on a circular needle, so it doesn't sit exactly straight. Ugh. And I've been working away at this for a while, so only, as I said, at those sorts of times. So there you go. So that is the Silver Lining Lumiere, and this is Mr. Grey. But can you see how fine that fabric is knitting up? I really do need to buy a better camera so you can see all these things so well. So that's it there. It is so soft. Knitting it up on a 3.25mm needle. Really nice cover factor, as you can see there, lovely cover factor on that, and it is knitting up absolutely beautifully. The pattern is the chocolat, baby chocolat, which I released free a few years back on Ravelry, which is in a DK, also in Silver Lining, when Silver Lining came out. All I've gone and done is up the number of stitches, and I'm making it up, people. So don't get excited and think that this will probably get published, knowing me it won't. I mean, if it gets finished this side of winter, I'll be doing well. But it just, if you're wanting to knit baby garments, because I've got a few babies that I'm knitting for, this is amazing. Gosh, I'm really, really enjoying it. The fabric is gorgeous. I've also got actually a little bit of Clearview blue, which I think I'll possibly contrast with it. I haven't quite decided. I've got some Clearview blue and I've got a little bit of old rose, but it's I'll probably do something around the base of the cardigan just to zhuzh it up a little bit. But wow, if you're looking to do some baby knitting and you've got either for yourself or you've got someone who knows that's happy to hand wash, this is fantastic. It's so soft and so pretty, and yeah, really quite lovely, and I'm thoroughly enjoying knitting with that. Really enjoying knitting with that. So that's my purse knitting, so that's what's in the handbag. The other thing I'm knitting at the moment, which is a bit bigger, and I think I showed you the swatch the other day, and I'll just pop this on the needles here. So I've talked about Albertine, which is coming out. The labels are here, hoping it's going to be balled later this week, because I want to take it to Creative Fibre in Gisborne, which is our new DK merino. So it's basically merino soft supersized, full-fold merino. So I think I talked about this the other day, the swatch the other day, and from that I'm creating sort of a poncho slash wrap thing. And it came about because I looked on Ravelry for patterns and there wasn't just sort of anything that I specifically wanted, so hence the reason for the swatching. And what I wanted was to create a wrap that was, create a pattern that was simple enough for anybody to knit, number one, could be worked flat, because there are still a number of you I know that don't like working on circular needles and don't like working them around. So I wanted something that could be worked flat on straight needles, as well as comfortably working in the round for those who like to do that. So this is my progress so far. Let's squeeze back here. So where are we? There we are, back here. So what we've got back here is a big garter panel there, with a big stocking stitch panel there, and you think, okay. And it's going to actually sit in that direction, with this sort of portion will sit off to the side. Oh, actually, I've got it the wrong way around. That way there. So the stocking stitch portion will run this way. I like it this way because the stripes are vertical, and again, if you're a more generously proportioned person, as I am, vertical stripes are your friend, people. Vertical stripes are your friend. So that's there. And so I'm just doing a plain portion at the moment, and then there will be a seam that will run across where these stripes are, and they will sort of match up. So it'll be something that you can just throw over, wrap around, really useful for this time of year. And I've added loads of colours. However, you don't need to do any more of the colours. I mean, that would actually work in a monochrome really well. Like, I mean, imagine that, black with white stripes or charcoal with this silver. It will look fantastic. There is, for those who look at that and go, oh gosh, that's lots of the same thing, loads and loads of stocking stitch and gardenet, there is actually something really quirky and funky going on here. Which is quite good, because it means that when you're doing those stripes and having that little point of interest, it just gives you a wee pivot point that keeps you trucking along. And for me, it's quite good. It's sort of like a break point, as it were. So that's what's on my needles at the moment. So I'm probably about a third of the way through. So my goal is to have this finished by Creative Fibre next week. I can tell you right now, won't happen. But at least so if you see me at Creative Fibre knitting this in Gizzy, you'll know that I'll be trying to get it finished off. So that's what's on the needles at the moment. This pattern, when I've finished it, will be written up. yes, and available for everybody. So hopefully I get that done. Well, it's relatively straightforward, so I should get that done relatively quickly. So that is what's on my needles. So what could we do there? Something beginning with C. Oh, I don't know. I really don't know. I'll need to think of something. Continuous. Watch the space. Continuing stories of what's on the needles. So there you go. So that is what I'm up to at the minute. Actually, I talked about vertical stripes before. I've just realised looking at this. This pattern, I love this pattern too, again, for ones that are of more generous proportions. This is Climb Every Mountain by, I think it's Heidi Kitamai, but it's got these lovely radiant vertical increases, which again, you know, got to play to your strengths, some people. And this is in Vintage Carmine, in case you're wondering. Right, what else is on my list to do? Knit August Nights. That's the last thing I want to talk about today. Knit August Nights is my other life, for those that don't know. So I have run that now for 9 years. And the registrations open in 8 days, a week from tomorrow. So if you think you'd like to attend Knit August Nights, you do need to make sure you jump over to knitaugustnights, all one word, and have a look at the classes, and do make sure that you get in and organise your registrations quite quickly. They open Tuesday 10 AM New Zealand time. Now, they sell incredibly quickly, those tickets, particularly to the classes. So do make sure you get over and do that. I have got Nathan Taylor from London coming out this year. Super excited. And I can now say this because I couldn't say it the other day when I was on. We're having a day with Nathan, and that is on the Thursday. But what I'm really excited about is Nathan's just been teaching at the Edinburgh Yarn Festival. He's in the Netherlands as we speak, doing some teaching. He's coming to New Zealand. He's doing a 3.5-week tour, a 3-week tour around New Zealand. So Napier first, then he's travelling down to Wellington, Dunedin, up to New Plymouth, and then Auckland on the way out. Then he's popping across to Sydney, Skein Sisters in Sydney, and Sunspun in Melbourne, doing some sessions there. Then he is flying over to San Francisco, and he's going to be teaching at Vogue Knitting Live. I know. So amazing. He is super excited. I'm super excited that he's coming to Cannes. So yeah, he is teaching 4 classes, his double knitting, and it's double knitting the technique, not double knitting the yarn weight. Introduction, demystifying double knitting, which is an introduction to double knitting. He's also doing his more advanced shaping and double knitting class, as well as his Strantasia class, which is basically a combination of intarsia, but doing it in the round, as opposed to going backwards and forwards in the flat. The technique that he has pioneered. So do check those out. I've also got the lovely Claire Devine coming down from Queensland, and she will be teaching 2 sock classes. I've only had 1 sock class in 9 years at Cannes, can't believe it. So she'll be doing a couple of sock classes. One of those is a beginner sock. Is it a beginner sock? No, it's a heels and toes class. There we go, I get it right. So she will be doing a couple of classes. I've also got the wonderful Georgie Nicholson coming back, which is Tiki Knits, and she is doing 4 classes as well as the wonderful Morag McKenzie and Nanette Cormack, and my wonderful stable of tutors that I've had for a number of years, who are just, without them, Cannes would not be Cannes. So if you know that you're going to be around or want to travel to Hawke's Bay at the end of August, do definitely jump on and check that out. Again, I'll pop the link in the comments. But other than that, I hope you're surviving the school holidays for those who have children. But enjoy, and hopefully get some sunshine at your place as well. Keep sharing over in the speakeasy. I will pop some photos up at Creative Fibre when I'm there next week. And again, if you're at Creative Fibre, I'd love to say hi. So do pop over and have a chat and fill me in on how things are going on. But in the meantime, enjoy, sit back, enjoy, hopefully sunshine at your house, and keep that knitting going. Want to see what you're up to. Okay.